Hello friends, thank you for joining us for this session. So I understand from some of our friends that there are some challenges in installing Node.js and Flowise AI on Windows system and some of the other errors pop up. So in this video, I will do a step-by-step installation of Flowise and Node.js, and also we'll create a AI agent that will be built on top of Flowise. So without much ado, let's get started. So you don't require any prior knowledge as we'll cover the step-by-step process. We will install Node.js and npm, and then we'll install Flowise. And if any error comes or if we face any issues, we'll address those issues here. And then we'll go ahead and create our first AI agent. So if you have seen my earlier video of creating the first AI agent, then you can skip this last part. And if instead of Windows, you want to deploy on Linux and you want to deploy using Docker, then you can use the other video that I have created earlier. I will leave the link on the description. So first and foremost, what is Flowise? So I hope you have some understanding of what Flowise is and what it can do for us. Basically, if you want to create AI-powered agent, right, there are various frameworks that are available. LangChain and LangGraph are one of the most popular frameworks there. And then Flowise is built on top of LangChain and LangGraph, so it supports these things. And we can create AI agents using Flowise very easily by using a drag and drop interface. And then Flowise is open source and it's self-hosted, so which means you can host it within your system. Or if you want to do a production deployment, you can also host it in maybe a cloud platform like Azure or AWS. So the process that we'll follow is first we will go to the Node.js website and download the LTS version, which is the latest stable release. And then we will run the installer and install Node.js and also the dependencies that comes along with that, because that is a very important step. If you skip them, right, there may be some issues that you may face. And then we will validate the installation if the installation is done and if it's showing the correct version to us. The next step will be to deploy Flowise using npm. So don't use this command that is mentioned on Flowise GitHub page that says npm install -g Flowise, because that will install the older version of Flowise. So that's not what we are looking to create here, but rather to deploy the latest version, you have to use this command Flowise add, and then you have to give the version. And then we'll validate the Flowise version, and then we will start the Flowise, and we will see if we are able to connect to Flowise using the browser. And then we will move forward and create our first agent. So we'll basically create a supervisor agent and two worker agent. This will be a basic agent. So one of the worker agents will create stories for kids, and second worker agent will provide 10 different suitable titles for stories. And to do this, we will require a ChatGPT LLM integration. So we need to create a API key that I'll show you how you can do that. And gradually we will move to more complex and more useful agents. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. Okay, so let's go to the system. Node.js, that's basically Node.js.org. And what we are looking for is the latest release that is stable, right? So there's the LTS release, and you can just click on this one to download, and it's downloaded. Let's go to the download directory, and you can just double click on this one to start the installation. Okay, so click on next, and of course you need to accept the license agreement and then move forward. C program files Node.js, it will do for me. I'll leave these settings to the default. And here, this step is important. So, for there are a number of tools that are required for Node.js to function properly. You don't need all those tools actually, because it will also install Chocolatey and some other things. But then, let's choose to install those dependencies because otherwise it may give us a error later. So I'll just select all these dependencies and click on install. Okay, so I'll say yes, I want this solution to proceed, and that will take a little time. I basically don't want to skip any step so that if you are facing an error at any step, right, you should be knowing right where things are going wrong. So I'll click on finish and then it will start installing dependencies. So here I clicked on finish and then it will say press any key to continue. So I'll press the key and then it will open PowerShell, yeah, install multiple dependencies and things. So I would request you bear with me, don't skip any steps here, as if you run into any issues, you should be aware like where the issue is coming. Okay, so our installation is completed. Now we'll just check. Okay, we have got this Node.js command prompt that will show us the version of Node.js. If you want to see the version of npm, you can just see npm hyphen hyphen version. Okay, so next is we have to install uh, our Flowise. So there's a GitHub page for Flowise. I would request you to check that out. So Flowise and GitHub. I'll just go to Google. Okay, so here is the page, and you can see the latest version of Flowise is 2.2.6-hotfix 1. This is as of the time of this video. So to install this version, right, don't use this command that is mentioned on the GitHub page. If you scroll down, right, it says we should do this npm install -g Flowise. So don't use this command. I mean, I'll just copy this command, but what I'll do is I will make some changes here, right? So we'll recheck the latest version that says 2.2.6-hotfix.1. So I'll say 2.2.6-hotfix.1. Yeah, this is the latest version as of date, right? So, if you are installing at a later time, then always check this latest version and use this one for the installation. Okay, so our Flowise installation has started. Our installation is completed, as you can see, uh, and it'll ask to update npm, which is okay. So as of now, we are not looking to update it. And if you want to check the version of uh, Flowise that we have deployed, we can just use this command npm, sorry, npx Flowise version. Yes, so you can see Flowise version is 2.2.6. So let's start Flowise. So to start Flowise, you can just say npx Flowise start. There are also some additional parameters that you can use, but probably we'll have a separate video for that one. So Flowise server is started, and if I go to my browser and I type http colon slash slash localhost colon 3000, I should be able to access Flowise. Yeah, so you can see I'm inside the Flowise. I prefer the dark mode, so you can just toggle this on or off, right? So next we'll go ahead and create an application here. You can see all the options on the left side. We have chat flows, agent flows, assistant. Marketplace has a lot of applications that can be leveraged. And then we have API keys. So there is one default key that is there currently. That's okay. So what we'll do is we'll create our agents now. So to do that, let's click on add new. And here we can create our first AI agent. So to do that, I'll click on this plus sign and we'll scroll down and use the supervisor and worker agents. So first, let me create a supervisor agent here, and then I'll go back and I'll say worker agent. Okay, and I can of course reduce the size of this one so that it's completely visible, and I can also copy a worker node again so that we have got two workers. So what we will be doing is we'll have one worker node as a storyteller. So let's give it the name as storyteller, and other worker will have the name of title generator, and in the worker prompt, right, we'll give the description what we need. Okay, so I'll say you are a writer, please write stories for kids in the bracket of 8 to 12 years. The stories should be light-hearted and funny, involving, let's say, animals, and the stories should be around 500 words. So that's what I'll tell to my worker node 1, and worker node 2 I'll tell you have to come up with creative titles of story shared with you by storyteller node. Create 10 titles for every story shared. Okay, I'll click on save, and supervisor also I'll give some work. So there are some parameters that are already defined, and then we'll just append our additional parameters here. So please get the story from storyteller node, or I'll say storyteller worker, and pass it on to title generator, and share, save, and I'll close. So let's see if our additional parameters are saved. Yeah, we look good. Now we need to connect them. So to connect them, you will see we have the supervisor written here, and supervisor can be connected on this supervisor section in the worker node. Similarly, we'll connect it to the other one as well. So I'll connect it to supervisor. And then the most important part is we now need to connect our chat models here. So I'll scroll down. We'll use ChatGPT. There are multiple models that are here, and I personally like working with open source model also, like Chatolama. But for now, for this video, we'll use Chat OpenAI. So I'll just drag it and drop here, and let's get it to the same level. And then I'll connect it to the supervisor node here, and we also need to connect it with the API. So to generate the API key, right, you need to go to the OpenAI platform, and here go to the dashboard and API keys. So OpenAI charges some amount for the tokens, and it's not very costly. It's pretty cheap. If you top it up by like $5, you should get more than enough tokens for that testing. The tokens are basically the unit of LLM tools. Probably we'll do a separate session if required, but there are a lot of YouTube videos that are already there that describe in detail like what are the tokens, what are their limitations and pricing, etc. So for now, I'll click on new secret key and I'll name it as story agent, and let it be default project, and I'll say create secret key. I can copy my key from here, and now what I'll do is I'll go to Flowise and I'll go to connect credential, and I'll say create new, and here I can copy paste my key, and this I'll give a name like story API, and I'll click on add. So while you can also achieve similar results by using ChatGPT also, but this will be a lot more efficient in achieving that. The stories, I mean, because we are basically dividing the work between two different nodes, and it's a good idea to have multiple nodes and make one node do one particular work. So I think we should be good for now. Now to get the stories created, we can just click on this chat box here. And here we can tell what kind of stories we are looking at. So let me just close this one. We need to save it first. So I'll save this one. I'll say story and title agent, and I'll save it here. And then we'll go to this chat box and we'll create a story. So I'll just say lion and rabbit, that's it, and the magic should get started. So the supervisor node will get into the action, and you can see it's asking the storyteller node to create a story involving a lion and a rabbit, and storyteller node is creating the story, and you can see the story is created, and then it has passed it on to the title generator node, right? So the story is completed, and here it goes to the title generator node, and our title generator node has created the titles, right? And we just asked to create a story about the lion and the rabbit, right? But if you will look at the titles generated by the title generator node, right, it says Roars and Flop, From King to Comrade. So it actually goes through the entire story before it generates the title, right? So though what we are achieving here is pretty basic, we are just connecting the LLM model, and we are not using any tools or anything, but we will be gradually going more advanced. So I'll have a set of different videos around creating more complex agents that will add much more value. But for now, we should be good. So thanks a lot for joining for this video. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.